Would compensation entice you to become a public official? For over a year the COALPORT Borough Council, according to a pleading in the Honorable Court of Common Pleas, Civil Division Docket Number 2024-1406 CD, is effectively defunct, since the Honorable Court Order of December 6, 2024, no person has been appointed to the COALPORT Borough Council. What is the remedy? Electorate of COALPORT Borough has an option, real, and lawful. If individuals would step up and go through the process of being court appointed, at the first meeting the new councillors could set forth an ordinance for the purpose of lawful compensation for each councillor and mayor. An ordinance could be enacted within 3 months of the court appointment. The compensation would be applicable in 2026 for all borough officials. The Honorable Solicitor by directive of the new council and mayor could craft an ordinance so that all public officials could lawfully receive the new maximum compensation of $3,145 per year. Boroughs with a population of less than 5,000 may receive per public official a maximum compensation of $3,145 per year. Boroughs were capped at a maximum of $1,875. Act 131 was enacted November 4, 2024, and by ordinance councils can set compensation for public officials for the following per year. See the COALPORT Borough Solicitor for aspects of this consideration of compensation for COALPORT Borough public officials. House Bill 2265, sponsored by Representative Kyle Donahue, D. Lackawanna, was signed by Governor Josh Shapiro after the bill was passed with a bipartisan vote of 49-1 by the Pennsylvania Senate on Tuesday, October 22, 2024. Act 131 will increase the maximum allowable compensation for borough council members and mayors. The maximum allowable compensation for borough officials had not been updated since 1995. Act 131 takes effect on December 30, 2024. New compensation will not take effect until a local ordinance is enacted, and the new compensation applies to the next term of office after the ordinance is enacted. The Honorable Solicitor will be the lawful entity for crafting an ordinance. VPPNM has discovered the following for those who have some doubt as to the proposed action of a newly appointed council by the Honorable Court. Crafting and enacting an ordinance in Pennsylvania can vary in time depending on the complexity of the ordinance and the specific procedures of the local government. Generally, the process involves several steps, including drafting the ordinance, public notice, public hearings, and final adoption by the governing body. Drafting the ordinance, this step involves researching, writing, and reviewing the proposed ordinance. It can take anywhere from a few weeks to several months, depending on the complexity and the need for legal review. Public notice: once the draft is ready, a public notice must be issued to inform the community about the proposed ordinance. This notice period typically lasts for a few weeks. Public hearings: public hearings are held to gather input from the community. These hearings can take place over several weeks or months, depending on the level of public interest and the number of hearings required. Final adoption: after considering public input, the governing body will make any necessary revisions and vote on the ordinance. This step can take a few weeks to a few months, depending on the schedule of the governing body and any additional revisions needed. Overall, the entire process can take anywhere from a few months to over a year, depending on the specific circumstances and the complexity of the ordinance. Now, would this notion of compensation entice the electorate of Coalport Borough to file a letter of intent to become a public official of Coalport Borough? Being paid to do a task is a good business decision. A motion or resolution to create an ordinance for public officials' compensation cannot happen unless you are on the Coalport Borough Council. Only councillors can make motions. Any councillor can make a motion qualified by a second. VPPNM is setting forth a proposal that if you make the move to become a councillor, things will happen. Without you, we do not have public officials. Pennsylvania legislators have provided a law that public officials may be compensated. You need to make an ordinance. Respectfully. Vision Press Production News Media.